Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our today's topic is selecting measuring instruments. At the start of session, we try to distinguish between three words: concepts, constructs, and variables. These three words are very much extensively used in research literature. Concepts, generalizable properties, are characteristics associated with objects, events, or people, while objects such as person, a firm, or a car are not concepts. Their specific characteristics are behavior, such as a person's attitude toward immigrants. A firm's capacity for innovation can be called concepts. Knowingly or unknowingly, we use different kind of concept in our everyday conversation. Some of these concepts have been developed over time through our shared language. Sometimes we borrow concepts from other disciplines or languages to explain a phenomena of interest. For instance, the idea of gravitation borrowed from physics can be used in business to describe why people tend to gravitate to their preferred shopping destinations. Likewise, the concept of distance can be used to explain the degree of social separation between two individuals. This term is extensively used these days during these days of pandemic in social media, electronic and print media. The term is called social distancing. The word distance is taken from the concept distance. Sometimes we create our own concepts to describe a unique characteristics not described in a prior research. For instance, techno stress is a new concept referring to the mental stress one may face when asked to learn a new technology. Concepts may also have progressive level of abstraction. Some concepts, such as a person's weight, are precise and objective, while other concepts, such as a person's personality, may be more abstract and difficult to visualize. A construct is an abstract concept that is specifically chosen or created to explain a given phenomena. A construct may be a simple concept such as a person's weight or a combination of a set of related concepts such as a person's communication skill, which may consist of several underlying concepts such as the person's vocabulary, syntax, and spelling. The former instance, weight, is a unidimensional construct, while the later communication skill is a multidimensional construct. Variables, when we define constructs operationally, it become variables. Variables are placeholders that can assume any one of a range of values, minimum 0 to 1. Operational definition define construct in terms of how they will be empirically measured. For instance, the operational definition of a construct, such as temperature, must specify whether we plan to measure temperature in Celsius, Fahrenheit, or Kelvin scale. A construct such as income should be defined in terms of whether we are interested in monthly or annual income, before tax or after tax income, or personal or family income. One can imagine that constructs such as learning, personality, and intelligence can be quite hard to define operationally. Look at this example. This is a theoretical and empirical association of research. Propositions are associations postulated between constructs based on deductive logic. Propositions are stated in a declarative form and should ideally indicate a cause-effect relationship. For example, if X occurs, then Y will follow. The empirical formulation of proposition stated as relationship between variable is called hypothesis. The distinction between these two is the the former one is formulated at the theoretical level and hypotheses are tested at the empirical level. Scientific research proceeds along two planes, a theoretical plane and empirical plane. Constructs are conceptualized at theoretical abstract plane, while variables are operationalized and measured at the empirical observational plane. Thinking like a researcher means that a researcher should have ability to move back and forth between these two planes. Depending on their intended use, variables may be classified as independent, dependent, moderating, mediating, or control variables. Variables that explain other variables are called independent variable. Those that are explained by other variables are dependent variables. Those that are explained by independent variables while also explaining dependent variables are mediating variables or intermediate variables. And then those that influence the relationship between independent and dependent variables are also called moderating variables. As an example, if we state that higher intelligence causes improved learning among students, then intelligence is an independent variable and learning is a dependent variable. There may be some other extraneous variable that are not pertinent to explaining a given dependent variable but may have some impact on the dependent variable. These variables must be controlled for in a scientific study and are therefore called control variable. The relationship between these variables are explained in this example. Look at the figure. If we believe that the intelligence influence or explains students' academic achievement, then a measure of intelligence such as an IQ score is an independent variable, while a measure of academic success such as a grade point average is a dependent variable. If we believe that the effect of intelligence on academic achievement also depends on the effort invested by the student in the learning process, for example, between two equally intelligent students, the students who put its more effort achieve higher academic achievement than those who puts in less effort. Then effort becomes a moderating variable. Incidentally, one may also view effort as an independent variable and intelligence as a moderating variable. If academic achievement is viewed as an intermediate step to higher earning potential, then the earning potential becomes the dependent variable for the independent variable academic achievement. Examples of independent and dependent variables. A study of teacher-students classroom interaction in different levels of schooling. Independent variable, level of schooling, four categories, primary, intermediate, junior high school, senior high school. Dependent variables, score on a school observation inventory which measures teaching student interaction. A student look second example is a study of location of school effect upon attitude towards school of 7th grade students. Independent variables location of school, three categories, urban, suburban and rural. Dependent variable scores on an attitude towards school inventory. Number 3 example, a study of the effect of types of material upon solving concepts, attainment, problem. Independent variable, type of material, two categories, figural and verbal. Dependent variable, time required to solve the concept, attainment problem. Example 4, a study of the professional attitudes of men and women teachers. Independent variable, gender of the teacher, male and female. Dependent variable, score on a professional attitude inventory. And the next we are going to present you an example of how can we state problems, then formulate hypotheses, and how can we identify our variables of interest along with the extraneous or intervening variable. The example in this slide is a survey of grading practices and patterns in academic areas of the senior high school in Ohio. Hypothesis: average grades in the science area of chemistry and physics are higher than those in the biology and earth sciences. Average grades in history and other social studies are higher than those in biological and physical sciences. Average grades in advanced mathematics, second year algebra, and beyond are higher than those in introductory algebra and consumer mathematics. There is a positive relationship between grades received in English courses and those received in foreign language courses. There is a positive relationship between grades received in algebra 2 and those received in chemistry. Grading patterns for courses in academic areas are higher in the size of high school increases. Operational definitions. First of all, academic areas: science, mathematics, English, social studies, history, and foreign languages. Senior high school, grade 10, 11, and 12 of any accredited high school in Ohio. Grades: the possible categories of the letter grading system A, B, C, and so forth, which may be converted to a numerical scores. Size of the high school. The enrollment in grades 10 to 12 categories are less than 200 students. 200 to 499, 500 to 799, 800 to 1099, 1100s and greater. Independent variables are academic areas, specific courses in certain areas, size of high school. Dependent variable is grades, grading patterns, proportion of grades by category. Possible intervening variables are types of school, gender of the student, location of the school, and possible control variable might be a size of the school. There is another example: a study of the effect of two reading programs A and B on the reading achievement of third grade students in school A. This can be the hypothesis of this proposed study. With students of heterogeneous reading achievement, there will be no difference in the mean gains in reading achievement for students taught by program A and those taught by program B. Thus, for instance, for students scoring in the lower 30% on a prior reading achievement, those taught by program A will have a greater mean gain than those taught by program B. For students scoring in the upper 30% on a prior reading achievement, those taught by program B will have a greater mean gain than those taught by program A. For students scoring in the middle 40% on prior reading achievement, there will be no difference in mean gains for students taught by program A and those taught by program B. Operational definitions: individuals included in the study, all third graders of school A. Program A, the set of reading material purchased from publisher Y and its suggested activities. Program B, the set of a reading material purchased from publisher Z and its suggested activities. Independent variable, reading program A and B. Dependent variable, gain score in reading achievement. Possible intervening variables: teachers, teaching style, learning style, students' scholastic ability. Possible control variables: prior reading achievement and gender of the student. Next topic is levels of measurement, type of measurement scales. The four general level of measurement scales, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratios, were defined and are briefly reviewed here. The four scales comprise a hierarchy of measurement levels based on the amount of information contained in the score or the measurements generated by the scales. The scales go from nominal to ratio in order from least to the most information contained. The four scales are defined in follows. In each case, an example of a variable that could be measured by the type of scale is given. Nominal, this gives categorization without order. Whatever is being measured is categorized into two or more classifications that indicates only difference with respect to one or more characteristics, for example, gender of the individual. Ordinal, in addition to indicating difference, this scale also orders the scores on some basis, such as low to high or least to most. Although the scores are ordered, equal intervals between scores are not established. For example, attitude towards school. Intervals, also called equal units, in addition to order, equal units or intervals are established in the scale such that a difference of a point in one part of the scale is equivalent to a difference of one point in any other part of the scale. Examples: temperature ratio scale. In addition to an equal unit, the scale contains a true zero point that indicates a total absence of whatever is being measured. Example: monetary expenditures for various school functions. The pictorial view of measurement scales. For example, nominal means, example is gender. Ordinal, position in a race, first, second, third, and the fourth one. The distance is not equal between these positions. The third one is interval. The distance is equal. The example is given here, temperature scales on Fahrenheit. The third and the last one is a ratio scale. It's describe the example of money, 0 and then 100, 200, 300, 400 and $500. Instrument. A tool that is used to collect data or information is called instruments. Instruments can be classified in a number of ways. Here are some of the most useful means of classifying is given. First is who provide information. Researcher instruments. A researcher interested in learning and memory development counts the number of time it takes different nursery children to learn to navigate their way correctly through a maze located in their school playground. He records his findings on a tally sheet. A researcher interested in the concept of the mutual attraction described in ongoing field notes how the behavior of the people who work together in various settings have been observed to differ on this variable. Subject instruments. A researcher in an elementary school administered a weekly spelling test that requires students to spell correctly the new word learned in class during the week. At a researcher's request, an administrator passes out a questionnaire during a faculty meeting that asks the faculty's opinion about the new mathematics curriculum recently instituted in the district. A researcher asked high school English teachers to have their students keep a daily log in which they record their reaction to play they read each week. Informant instrument. A researcher asked teacher to ask a rating scale to operate each of their students on their phonic reading skills. A researcher asks parents to keep anecdotal record describing the TV characters their preschoolers spontaneously role play. A researcher interviews the president of the student council about students' view on the school's disciplinary code. Our responses are recorded on an interview schedule. Means of classification as per types of the test. First type is cognitive tests. A cognitive test measures intellectual processes such as thinking, memorizing, problem solving, analyzing, reasoning, and applying information. Most tests that school pupils take are cognitive achievement tests. An achievement test measures an individual's current proficiency in a given areas of knowledge or skill. Standardized achievement tests typically cover a number of different curriculum areas such as reading, vocabulary, language, and mathematics. Aptitude test. Test of general aptitudes are also referred to as a scholastic aptitude test and test of general mental ability. Aptitude tests usually include cognitive measures, but one that are not normally part of classroom tests. For example, many requires that participants respond to a variety of verbal and non-verbal tasks intended to measure the individual's ability to apply knowledge and solve problems. Such tests offers often yields three scores: an overall score, a verbal score, and a quantitative score. Here is an example of an aptitude test. One of the selected item is presented here. Affective tests. An affective test is an assessment designed to measure affective characteristics, such as mental characteristics related to emotions, such as attitude, interest, and values. Affective tests are often used in educational research and exist in many different formats. Attitude scales. An attitude scale is an instrument measures what an individual believes, perceives, or feel about self, other activities, institutions, or situations. Five basic type of scales are used to measure attitudes: Likert scale, semantic differential scale, rating scale, Thurston scales, and Gutman scales. The first three are frequently used in educational research. Likert scale, designed by René Likert. This is a very popular rating scale for measuring ordinal data in social science research. This scale includes Likert items that are simply worded statements to which respondents can indicate their extent of agreements or disagreements on a 5 or 7 point rating scale ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Linked items allow for more finely tuned response than binary items, including whether respondents are neutral to the statement. A key characteristic of the Likert scale is that even though the statement vary in different items or indicators, the anchor strongly agree to strongly disagree remains the same. Here is an example of Likert scale. This is the question about the self-esteem of a person. I feel good about my job. I get along well with others at work. I am proud of my relationship with my supervisors at work. I can tell that other people's work are glad to have me there. I can tell that my co-workers respects me. I feel like I make a useful contribution at a work. Semantic differential scale. This is a composite multi-item scale where respondents are asked to indicate their opinion or feeling towards a single statement using different pairs of adjectives framed as a polar opposites. As in the Likert scale, the overall scale scores may be a summation of individual item scores. Notice that in Likert scale, the statements changes but the anchors remain the same across items. However, in semantic differential scale, the statements remains constant while the anchors adjective pairs change across items. semantic differential is believed to be an excellent technique for measuring people's attitudes or feeling toward objects, events, or behavior. Example of inferential semantic differential scale. How would you rate your opinion on national health insurance? Good, bad, useful, useless, caring, uncaring, interesting, and boring, like so on. Gutman scale. Gutman scales, designed by Louis Gutman, this composite scale uses a series of items arranged in increasing order of intensity of the construct of interest from least intense to most intense. Each item in the Gutman scale has a weight not indicated, which varies with the intensity of that item, and the weighted combination of each response is used as an aggregate measure of an observation. Example of Gutman scale. How will you rate your opinion on the following statement about immigrants? Do you mind immigrants being citizens of your country? Do you mind immigrants living in your own neighborhood? Would you mind living next door to an immigrant? Would you mind having an immigrant as your close friend? Would you mind if someone is in your family married an immigrant? Affective test. An affective test is an assessment designed to measure affective characteristics, mental characteristics related to emotions such as attitude, interest, and values. Attitude scales. An attitude scale is an instrument that measures what an individual believe, perceive, or feel about self, other activities, institutions, or situations. Five basic types. Sorry, that was the repeated slide. Our next instruments are interest inventories. An interest inventory requires participants to indicate personal likes and dislikes, such as the kind of activities they prefer. Two frequently used interest inventories are the Strong Campbell interest inventory and the coded preference record vocational value test. The study of values instruments measures the relative strength of an individual values in six different areas: theoretical, discovery of truth, empirical approach, economic, practical values, aesthetic, symmetry, form and harmony, social, philanthropic, political, personal power, influence, and religious, unity of experience, cosmic coherence. Personality inventories. A personality inventory include questions or statement that describe behavior or characteristics of a certain personalities. Respondents indicate whether or to what degree each statement decide them. Some inventories are presented as checklists. Respondents simply check items they feel characterize them. This is an example of personality inventory. Do you think your friends are smarter than you? Do you feel good about your appearance? Do you avoid meeting new people? For stress, do you have trouble sleeping? Do you feel on top of things? Do you feel you have too much to do? Projective tests. Projective tests were developed in a part to eliminate some of the problems inherent in the use of self-report and forced choice measures. Projective tests are ambiguous and not obvious to respondents. Such tests are called projective because respondents project their true feelings or thoughts onto an ambiguous stimulus. The most commonly used projective technique is the method of association. Presented with a stimulus such as a picture, ink blot, or word, participants respond with a reaction or interpretation. A projective device is any sort of instrument with a vague stimulus that allows individuals to project their interests, preferences, anxieties, prejudices, needs, and so on through their responses to it. This is an example of an intelligence test. Here is a sequence of a picture A, B, C, D, E, and which one of the following would come next in the sequence F, G, and H. Another basis of classification is the interpretation of an instrument. Second, norm versus criterion reference instruments. Norm reference instruments, all individual scores derive meaning by comparing them to the scores of a particular group. This means that the nature of the group is extremely important. Whether this is done, researcher must be sure that the reference group makes sense. Comparing a boy's score on a grammar test to a group of girls' scores on this test, for example, may be quite misleading since girls usually score higher in the grammar. The groups to which the comparison is made is called the norm group, or the instrument that provides such information are referred to as a norm reference instrument. Norm referenced examples of norm reference: a student scored at the 50th percentile in his group, scored above 90% of all the students in the class, received a higher grade point average in English literature than any other students in the school, ran faster than all but one other students on the team. An alternative to the use of customary achievement or performance instrument, most of which are norm reference, is to use a criterion reference instruments, usually a test. The intent of such a test is somewhat different from that of norm reference test. Criterion reference tests focus on more directly on instructions rather than evaluating learner progress through gain in scores. For example, from 40 to 70 on an achievement test, a criterion reference test is based on a specific goal or a target called a criterion for each learner to achieve. The criterion for mastery or pass is usually stated as a fairly high percentage of correctly answered questions, such as 80 or 90%. Example of CR: a student spelled every word in the weekly spelling list correctly, solved at least 75% of the assigned problems, achieved a score of at least 80 out of 100 on the final exam, did at least 25 push ups within a 5 minutes period, read a minimum of one non fiction book in a week. Validity of the instrument. Content validity is the degree to which a test measures an intended content area. In recent years, validity has been defined as referring to the appropriateness, correctness, meaningfulness, and usefulness of the specific inferences researchers make based on the data they collect. Content validity requires both item validity and sample validity. Item validity is concerned with whether the test items are relevant to the measurement of the intended content area. Sampling validity is concerned with how well the test samples the total content area being tested. For example, a test designed to measure knowledge of biology facts would have a good item validity if all the items are relevant to a biology, but poor sampling validity if all the test items are about vertebrates. If instead the test adequately sampled the full content of the biology, it would have a good content validity. Content validity is of a particular importance for achievement test. Content validity is determined by expert judgment. There is no formula for or statistics by which it can be computed, and there is no way to express it quantitatively. Often, experts in the topic covered by the test are asked to assess its content validity. These experts carefully review the process used to develop the test as well as the test itself, and then they make a judgment about how well items represent the intended content area. Sorry. In other words, they compare what was taught and what is being tested. When the two coincides, the content validity is strong. The term face validity is sometimes used to describe the content validity of test, although its meaning is somewhat ambiguous. Face validity basically refers to the degree to which a test appears to measure what it claims to measure. Although determining face validity is not a psychometrically sound way of estimating validity, the process is sometimes used as an additional screening procedure in a test selection. It should be followed up by content validation. Criterion related validity. Criterion related validity is determined by relating performance on a test to a performance on a second test or other measure. The second test or measure is the criteria against which the validity of the initial test is judged. Criterion related validity has two forms: concurrent and predictive validity. Concurrent validity is the degree to which scores on one test are related to a score on a similar pre-existing test administered in the same time frame or to some other valid measures available at the same time. Often, for example, a test is developed that claims to do the same job as some other tests but is easier or faster. One way to determine whether the claim is true is to administer the new and the old test to the same group and compare the scores. Concurrent validity is determined by establishing a relationship or discrimination. The relationship method involves determining the correlation between scores on the test under study